The moment most of the internet thought happened last week has finally occurred. Trisha Paytas has given birth this week and announced the name of her little girl, and it's shockingly not Elizabeth like everyone thought. We're also talking about the fact that Addison Rae was hanging out with Olivia Rodrigo recently, and Tana Mongeau and Jeff Wittek are clapping back at a hater and what they have to say about influencers attending New York Fashion Week. There's a lot to discuss today. Let's start with the news that had the name Malibu Barbie trending online yesterday. Trisha gave birth and announced it on social media. She said that her daughter's name is Malibu Barbie, which if you saw my last video on Trisha addressing rumors that she was about to bring the queen back to life with her baby, then you know we talked about potential baby names. And I had heard that name being on the top of her list, and it looks like that's the one she went with. So for anyone who was convinced that she was going to troll everyone and end up naming the baby Elizabeth, that was not the case. Trisha didn't even like the fact that she was trending with the queen and made a whole video saying she was sorry to anyone in the royal family if she offended anyone by trending alongside her, and she felt the whole thing was not something to be joked about. And she was so worried people were going to think that she was the one who started all these jokes and the whole rumor about her and Queen Elizabeth and her baby, and she blames her whole past of trolling for getting her in this situation. I honestly never thought I would see the day where Trisha didn't like trolling anymore. Who would have thought? But anyway, that's what's going on in Trisha's bubble of the world this week. Congratulations to her and Moses. I know that baby is going to have some really good Halloween costumes for sure. I'll say that because we all know Trisha loves to dress up and do cosplay, and Halloween is right around the corner, so I know Trisha's probably planning that right now. If not, she's already planned it. Now, as for Addison Rae, as we've seen, her parents have been in the headlines a lot recently, especially her dad, as he's been called out for flirting with young girls at bars and clubs in LA. He's been posting embarrassing content online, trying to fight people like Young Gravy, and it's just been an embarrassing time for her family. And Addison had recently come out to say that she's distanced herself from her parents and didn't want anything they were doing to affect her, especially her career. She really didn't want the things that they were saying and things that they were posting to make her look bad. And I honestly do think that through all of this, she's honestly gained a lot of respect from people who never really cared for her or was not really a fan of her before. So the fact that she has handled this so well to the public, I think, said a lot to people and made those who maybe thought, I don't like her, to change their minds about who she is. And it looks like Addison is doing pretty well, as she was spotted the other night out with Olivia Rodrigo and Lydia Knight. They were attending a Kid Laroi concert and were singing their hearts out. And to see Addison having so much fun is honestly so cute, and to see her with big names, honestly good for her. She's got amazing connections, and she's always got these like very high level A-list celebrity friendships, and I don't think anything her parents have done are going to affect her career. So honestly good for her. She shouldn't be worried about what they're doing and having it affect her career. She seems to be doing just fine, and I'm honestly happy for her. So that's what's going on in Addison's little bubble, hanging out with Olivia. Let's get into the hot topic of the week: influencers at New York Fashion Week. I feel like just like the Met Gala, there's a lot of talk surrounding this subject, and people have a lot of thoughts and opinions about this one. I will say that I'm not really in the fashion world or anything like that, so I honestly have no like real opinions on this, but I've seen TikToks from people who are in that world, and they are really upset about this and the fact that influencers are getting to sit front row at these fashion shows. Honestly, I think a lot of people understand, or mostly understand, why influencers are invited to these fashion shows, and they're mainly just upset with the fact that they are getting front row seats, because those are the big ticket item. Like, going front row at a New York Fashion Week show, that's big. So people are feeling like these brands are valuing these influencers over people that are going to these shows to purchase for department stores and online stores. Yes, influencers buy designer and they buy clothes and all that stuff, but when they're being seated in front of people who are there to buy thousands of dollars of clothes to sell in stores like Macy's and stuff, that's what people are upset about. Although I will say that I do think like times are changing in every single industry with the implementation of influencers. So everyone trying to navigate this new way of life and integrating influencers into everything is just, it's causing a storm in every industry. But there were tons of influencers at shows this past week, and I honestly hate to say this, but if I didn't follow these influencers, I probably wouldn't have even known that it was New York Fashion Week. They're posting like tons of stuff on their Instagram because they're excited to be there. They're excited to be invited. They're in New York. They're showing off their outfits. And if they were not posting on Instagram, I just like don't know if I would know. I don't know because I'm a little unsure. Maybe I would. I would probably see it on TikTok. But I mean, just keeping up with all these influencers is a big telltale sign of knowing like when events are, which is exactly why they're getting invited. They're posting on their Instagram stories. They're posting on their feed. They're talking about the shows they went to. They're tagging the brands. Those are all the reasons why they're being invited. And maybe that doesn't mean they need to be front row taking the place of somebody there to buy collections, but them being there in the room does kind of make sense to me. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but I see why designers would want to invite them because they probably don't even have to pay them to be there. They would just like be excited to go there for clout purposes. But it's a reason celebrities have been invited for years now, right? Like celebrities were invited before because it drives attention to these shows, and when they get photographed at these shows, it gives the shows and designers attention to their new collection. I feel like influencers also do that. Influencers like James was posting a storm from all the shows that he went to, as well as Nikki the Dragon and a bunch more. And shockingly, Tana Mongeau and Jeff Wittek were invited to New York Fashion Week. I think Jeff went as Tana's guest just based on videos that they've posted. That's kind of what it sounds like. But oh my goodness, these two together, I'm sorry, I love this duo. I think that these two balance each other out so much. I love their friendship. I love them doing their podcast together. I think that they just perfectly balance each other out. There's no other words than to say that. But they went together and they ran into some issues though. This is definitely, this was problematic. They posted at the show that they were attending and they made a couple TikToks. They were making Instagram posts. This is something that Tana had on her Instagram story. Us pretending to be so interested right now. Which obviously, if you really care about New York Fashion Week, care about the fashion industry, you just probably were super pissed off when you saw this. Like, just super annoyed. Like, oh my gosh, people would kill to be in her place. And she's like talking about it like she's not interested. So I could see how some people would be mad about it. But oh my goodness, people were really pissed about it. Someone decided to call them out on TikTok and said, not Tana Mongeau being invited to a fashion show, getting dressed by them to only post something like this. She was basically saying it was disrespectful and rude for Tana to post and literally not post the runway. Like she's there for promotion and didn't promote and didn't show her outfit. To which Tana decided to clap back and say, they didn't dress me. And it was a joke, the video. I had fun. The girl had also insinuated Tana was rude at the show in their replies to other people and said that she didn't go up to Tana for that reason. So Tana decided to sit down with Jeff and do a little mini rant about the whole thing and address the hate that they got from this one person.
We need to emergency address something that
a situation that we're in. We will be addressing a TikTok that was made about us, more so me, honestly, by a woman named Monica. Not Tana Mongeau being invited to a fashion show, getting dressed by them, only to post something like... She also captioned this, I knew not to come up to her, and then left several comments saying I was rude.
First of all, how would you know she's rude if you didn't even come up to her? Second of all, who gives... We're not fashion show people. We were self-deprecating. We're making fun of ourselves, all right?
1, they didn't dress me. 2, if you're inviting Tana Mongeau to a fashion show, you're not inviting her for fashion commentary.
Yeah.
3, we took photos with everyone there and we were so nice to them. Were we not nice?
Yeah, I was so nice.
Was I nice? I was so nice.
She was making fun of the fact that she brought me to a fashion show. Now imagine I brought her to a UFC fight. She would say, look at me pretending to be interested in these goons.
Yeah. So all in all, we had a great time at Cherry Hill. Thank you so much for inviting us. We enjoyed the show. We met her daughter. So thank you so much to Monica for making that TikTok, calling us awful even though we had a great time. And for
Shout
helping us.
Shout out to Cherry Hill for inviting us personally.
and helping us conceptualize the idea of micro podcasting. Let us know if you guys enjoyed this and any topics you'd like us to talk about in the next micro podcast.
I came up with the idea for it, actually.
How was that for our first scandal?
I don't know if we'll ever come back from it.
Sherry Hill was the show that they went to, and honestly, there were so many influencers at that show. A lot of people from Bachelor Nation as well. Even Hannah Goodwin from The Bachelor walked in the show. So Tana was obviously there to show face and just be there amongst other influencers and attract more eyes to the show, as was everyone else in attendance. That's what their job is when being invited. So definitely joking about pretending to be interested, I could see how that could make some people upset, but it turned into a whole big thing. But what do you guys think about this? About New York Fashion Week, influencers, how people are reacting to all of this? I definitely want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.